Let's talk. Hello. Wasn't that wonderful? Our hills are alive with the sound of music, thanks to Ariel Rudiakov and the Manchester Music Festival. I am so thrilled to have you here with me today, Ari. Thank you.
Salley,
Thank you for
delighted.
coming. Well, let's start with, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I'm 6'4.5".
I won't ask your weight, but...
I like hot dogs. I'm working on my weight. I'm currently 205 pounds, if anybody
Wow.
wants to know. Seriously, though. I was born in Indiana, Indianapolis, and grew up in New York City. I went to the Fieldston School for grade school and high school, attended college at SUNY Purchase, then graduate work at Yale, and which I finished up at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. Moved up to Vermont with my wife full-time right around 2002.
Ah, all right.
And I have two lovely kids, a boy and a
Beautiful
girl,
children.
Michael and Lily. Their ages almost 8 and 12. And they go to the Maple Street School. And I live right here in Manchester.
You're a full-time resident.
I am a full-time resident.
That's
Happily
great.
so.
Yes, and we're happy to have you too. Now, Ari, can you tell me, the music festival, this is the 42nd year, which is unbelievable.
It is. We
Yeah.
are, first of all, very happy to still be here and working in the area. Back in the mid-'70s, there was a couple, Carol Glenn, violinist, and Eugene List, pianist, of international reputation,
Yes, of course.
who decided that they wanted to start basically what was a summer camp up here for musicians.
Oh, really?
And so they could impart their knowledge of and love and passion for chamber music and other classical repertoire, and teach for a good chunk of the summer up here. They lived in New York City, and so they ran it from there for many years, for 9 years. And then my father took over, with my mother, of course, who was absolutely, no pun intended, instrumental in getting some of the current programs that we have
Really? Well, she's
off the
wonderful.
ground.
Your mother, Judy, is
A wonderful
an amazing
career
woman.
teacher
Yeah.
and just a force of nature.
Now, was your father a musician?
Yes, my father was a concert cellist, and hence I think why I wasn't a cellist. There was already one in the family, and a formidable one at that. So I went in a different direction myself. I studied piano for 5 years, and then I picked up the viola, which intrigued and called out to me. And then later on I went into conducting also. So now I currently do both in sort of equal measure. My father ran the music festival for 15 years, from 1984-ish till 2000 when he passed away. I took over officially in 2001.
Wow. Now, there's so much going on with the festival, and it has grown and expanded so much. Can you share with us kind of how it's grown and what you're doing today?
Sure. Musicians who are teachers, kind of by their very basic nature, want to see things happen wherever they go. If they alight in a certain place, or they band together and they invite their friends and colleagues, they want to set roots and see the flower of music growing, both educationally and performance-wise. And such was the case with, even with Carol and Eugene. They had plans to start a year-round school here, but which didn't come to fruition. However, when my parents took over the organization, those plans did start to unfold. So what does that mean? Year-round concerts began to happen, not only in the summertime. Educational outreach programs, we began to go into schools. My father, I played with him many times in many schools for thousands of children. That continues to this day. And then more relatively speaking, it's not recent, 15 years ago, my God. The
Time does fly, doesn't it?
Ridiculous. How much time do we have? Our after-school string program was established, the Michael Rudiakov Music Academy. So that is an after-school program with its own resident faculty that teaches violin, viola, cello to area students who pay for lessons. We also have established a string ensemble for them, so kids can play together and not have that in a vacuum. Basically, that arose, those types of things arose because schools are very busy with their own curriculums, but they don't always have the wherewithal to have a focus on string playing. And so we supplement what we can, where we can, and then we also decided to establish our own after-school program, so you can come and take violin, viola, and cello lessons. Virtually all ages, I would say. Officially, we have a Suzuki program that starts them very young, if they choose, 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, really?
And if you so choose and you dare to take the risk of being an adult learner, you just come and see me. I'll teach you.
That sounds great.
So I would say a qualified yes to all ages.
Wow, that's wonderful. And the children must amaze you. I imagine, how do they pick up on the string instruments?
Well, if you start them not inheriting them from anybody else, any other teacher, you start them off and you start them off right. Depending on the child, they're all different, of course. And the support system that might or might not exist at home, which is critically important to learning and development, then they can take to it and make progress quite rapidly, relatively speaking. Stringed instruments aren't always the easiest things to learn. It is delayed gratification. It's not instant gratification.
Yes, I know. When you hear
sometimes, you play the piano, you press one of the keys, and a nice sound comes out, and you can control that. But with string playing, you have to control every aspect of how the sound is produced, and that takes a while to get accustomed to.
But you are involved a lot with the schools, and I think that's wonderful because it gives our children the opportunity to learn to appreciate music. Well, and that's so important.
We like to think, and we hope, and I think based on the demand that we have, that only seems to grow year in, year out for the in-school residency work that we do. We go to the schools to demonstrate and also perform great and diverse repertoire, usually with a string quartet and other instruments added, to bring the concert experience to their classroom and make it intimate and not foreign and far away.
Now, I want to talk about synergies.
So glad you
Talk
asked.
to us about, this is absolutely wonderful. This is the Summer Music Festival program. Now, first of all, could you share with us, how do you get your artists? How do you find people?
Well, without meaning to sound immodest, I think the cast, the ensemble cast of the summer, which are dozens of musicians coming through this summer, are just off the charts in terms of their credentials. We have pianists who have won more awards than I can shake a stick at, things of that nature. So how do we come by them? Sometimes by word of mouth, recommendation from other colleagues and musicians. We are very fortunate to be able to play with them in a variety of settings. And then it's a question of chemistry. It's a question of, well, how do you get along with your fellow artists in the concerted effort to give voice to the composer's language and make an impact with an audience?
I imagine that's important.
Yes, it is. Chemistry between players, I think, is readily revealed to an audience.
Oh,
absolutely. They know.
You know,
if you're not getting along with one of a small group of people, because we tend to focus on chamber music, which simply means small groups, like a small band, a quartet, the Beatles size, that kind of thing. If one of those players is not happy, or we are not happy with them, and vice versa, you feel it.
Yeah.
And the music is a
music
little bit
is
compromised.
like that, I would think.
It's just like sort of choking your voice a little bit, or playing with a head cold, singing with a head cold.
Now tell us about what's coming up.
Sure. Well, right around the corner, as a kind of preview to the whole summer season, we have a concert we're calling Gateway to Summer. And that's taking place on Memorial Day weekend, Saturday afternoon at 3:30 at the Helmholtz Fine Art Gallery. Our first time playing there and collaborating with Lisa Helmholtz-Adams, who's been a wonderful
she is absolutely
host for
yes.
us.
And very generous with her
Absolutely.
her time and her space and her energy.
Sure. So we thought, well, it's acoustically beautiful in there. What a perfect place to have a little short 1-hour preview concert surrounded by art.
Oh, that's
so wonderful. We have guest artists coming, the Bowers-Fader duo. Jessica Bowers is a mezzo-soprano and Oren Fader is a classical guitarist. And we are doing all kinds of music, from Mozart to Kurt Weill to Astor Piazzolla. It's a real smorgasbord.
Now, which day is that of the weekend?
It's Saturday. Saturday at 3:30.
We'll be away.
A lot of locals will be away.
My granddaughter's dance concerts.
We're hoping to entice with not only the music, but Whistle Pig Distillery is going to be coming to kind of add to the mixology with their own spirits.
Wonderful.
And we'll have some wine and some food. You can meet the artists.
Which is great.
And so that's what kicks off the summer. Then we launch a little over a month later, into Synergies. This title arises because of the natural synergies that are occurring throughout the summer, not only between the musicians and themselves, because it's a collaborative art form, so that forms a natural synergy, whether it's an orchestra, whether it's the opera singer singing together, whether it's our community chorus that's been revitalized. We haven't had a chorus in 30 years. We're really excited about that. Or any of the chamber music. So Synergies is
it's a perfect
a term that seemed very natural. Yes. And then within that, in even broader terms, we have synergies with the community to make these concerts happen. For, just to give one example, our second concert.
Oh, but do mention Duke Ellington.
I will. That's another synergy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, why don't I start with that?
All right.
So, yes, what are the synergies in terms of the programming? Music, as Duke Ellington said, if it sounds good, it is good. And he was always a big proponent of wanting to bring styles together, wanting to bring people together through music, through all of its power to inspire and even heal.
Oh, wow. And it does.
So what did he mean by that? Well, apart from the obvious, if it sounds good, it is good. He wanted to see people attending the same church, even if they're coming in through different entrances. And he lamented the fact that there were divisions within people's perceptions about music, and of course you can't influence or modify people's tastes, but he was always encouraging people to try things. Yeah. So what we are doing is starting off with planting the flag firmly but gently with our chamber music by Johannes Brahms. We are our deep love of ours, and our whole gestalt has been classical chamber music for as long as the organization's been in existence. However, we are going through this concert vectoring ever slightly further away from the classical style as it progresses, and finally saying, hey, let's have some Duke Ellington at the end.
Wonderful.
And so if you're a fan and lover of Brahms for this first concert, You will enjoy
You'll
a
be
wonderful
happy.
trio, and you'll be happy. And then also pieces by Joaquin Turina will be sung by Danielle Talamantes, our guest soprano. She's fantastic. And she is just releasing an album of Duke Ellington songs.
Really?
And she'll be singing 2 or 3 of those at the end.
Wonderful.
So we're just
I
very
can't
excited
wait.
about, and in many of these concerts, that idea, that basic idea of music fitting together organically, naturally, happily,
Happily,
as at least not too distant cousins, pervades much of the summer.
But all
The second
family.
concert's the same too.
music family.
Sure,
Now, flirting with fusion.
sure. Flirting with fusion. Well, I've had an idea to kind of flip the script a little bit on how a concert might be produced or curated or conceived. So I went and asked 2 good friends, former board members in one case and a current board member in another, Joyce Luceric and Jackie Baker of Joy and Mother Myrick's respectively. Well, what would you think about helping me produce a concert? And if you were to do such a thing, well, what would it look like? So reaching out to the business community and the sponsors who actually help support what we do financially and otherwise, I thought it's very important, at least from time to time, to say, hey,
What do you want?
What's your input? So this particular concert happens to have all female composers,
Really?
from Fanny Mendelssohn to the very much alive Sato Matsui, who was a composer in New York, and features fantastic music that you may or may not have heard of, a world premiere composition, which is music I guarantee you've never heard before, and ending with Laura Molinelli and her band Luminous Crush
And everyone
to
loves
take us
Laura.
out.
Yes, isn't that wonderful?
So I think in terms of the input that I've received, the support of the idea from the female business owners of Manchester
I think it's
and
exciting.
others,
I think it's very exciting.
we cooked this up together.
Yeah. Wonderful. Oh, it's going to be such fun. Now, music from Russia and Armenia.
Yes, the great Armenian composer Aram Khachaturian, famous for his saber dance, which was the opening music from the movie Cool Hand Luke. I just happen to remember that. Combined with Mussorgsky's fantastic pictures at an exhibition and Mikhail Glinka's Grand Sextet, which includes piano, string quartet, double bass. It's a showcase of the great Russian and Armenian masters.
Wow. Now let's move along a little bit.
Handel to modern. Music goes back a long way and goes
Handel
forward
is one.
indefinitely. So we have another world premiere. I'd like to point out that the composer, Stephen Dankner, whose piano quintet we will be premiering, is also the digital artist who created this image.
Oh my goodness,
So
what
he
a
is
talent.
a wonderful composer who writes in a beautifully, for lack of a better term, accessible style. Created a piece, and he works very fast. So within a week, he had written this
Oh my
piano
goodness.
quintet and said, "Here,
Isn't that
thanks for
neat?
playing this summer." So I said, "Have the music." Well, I guess we got to do this. And that will be combined with Chopin, Polonaise Brillante for a solo cello, a virtuosic showcase with Benjamin Capps, who's a guest artist coming up, and
goodness.
Handel two cello sonata in G minor, which is just beautiful and glorious. And there was going to be something else. What was it? Oh, Mozart piano trio.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful. Now, I want to move along because I want to get to the others.
Sure,
you have
sure.
the orchestra experience?
Yes, every year our combined forces of faculty, young artists, supplemented by some of the best musicians of New York and Boston area, create an orchestra, a symphony orchestra.
Wow.
There'll be roughly, I'd say, between 45 and 50 of us on stage together.
Wow.
If you're a fan of symphony orchestra playing, I think this is your concert.
Oh, it looks fabulous.
And so we have, as I mentioned previously, the Manchester Community Chorus, led by Linda Huckle, will be performing 2 works by Mozart, Ave Verum Corpus, the beautiful, beautiful piece, and Sancta Maria, which is also a lively,
Fabulous,
beautiful thing. They're going to have an encore, a special encore that has not been divulged to me yet. Maybe a surprise. Then we have the violinist Stefan Milenkovic is going to do Samuel Barber's violin concerto, which is a showstopper of a piece, and especially the last movement, which is just a perpetual motion. It's like putting the gas pedal, sticking it in drive, and not
just going
stopping
for it. Yeah.
until you've reached escape velocity.
Oh,
So, and then we're
great.
going to end with Beethoven's Fourth Symphony.
And then you have the night at the opera.
Tradition going back 25 years or more. We have 4 singers from the Metropolitan Opera's Lindemann Young Artist Development Program, or alumni from that program who have established careers, with Karen Levine, who is also at the Met as a assistant conductor and a coach. And they do highlights from the operatic literature in solos, duos, trios, quartets, and we'll also have, I think, another appearance by the community chorus to back that up at the end.
So
So our
there's
season,
there is so much going on. And of course
There's
you
a lot.
have your young artists,
yes,
the
we do.
students who are there through the
Sure.
summer, and people can come and hear them perform, can't they?
Yes, they have their own concert series at the Riley Center. The Thursday night concerts take place at Southern Vermont Arts Center at the Arkell Pavilion. Monday nights, we will have these 15 gifted young players who we've all identified and auditioned. We know who they are. They can be seen on our website, performing chamber music that they study throughout the 6-week season.
And that's Monday. Is that at the Riley?
Mondays at the Riley is 7.
Yeah, which is great. I wanted you to mention this wonderful piece that you did. Tell us a little bit about that.
Kind of contrasts the blue with the red, right?
It works, it works.
Well, since I haven't seen you in a while, several years have gone by since we last spoke, we recorded a CD that I'm very proud of and has gotten quite a bit of good play and good reviews, both regionally, nationally, and actually internationally. This is a recording of music by American composer Vittorio Giannini. He was an American post-romantic composer who really, his style flew in the face of the Second Viennese School, Arnold Schoenberg, Berg, Webern, all of that. He eschewed that style and wrote beautiful, lush, romantic music. So it was a discovery because as a conductor, I had conducted one of his string orchestra pieces, and I was just in love with his style. It was so, deeply emotional. Unpretentious. In fact, you could say it was unabashedly unabashed in some respects. And so I knew of his piano quintet and then discovered, working through his estate and his niece in New York, that there was much, much, much more music. So 2 of his main pieces of chamber music, his quintet for piano and strings and his piano trio, are on this CD. It was shortlisted for a Grammy Award. We didn't quite make it, but
almost.
But close.
Yeah.
Life is full of near misses.
Oh, absolutely. Now,
so we hope you'll
I'm going to totally enjoy this. I know I will. Thank you so much. I wanted you to, we just have a few minutes left. Where is the festival going? What direction are you going into?
Well, we have been, as I mentioned, through the educational, outreach programs and all of the work that we have established year-round. We have been very busy outgrowing the name Music Festival, which suggests something that's a very short duration, folds up its tent and leaves. We have not been that for years and years and years. So with the discussion and the approval of the board of directors, we are changing the name of our organization starting this fall. It will become Manchester Center for Music.
Oh, I like that.
So it doesn't mean that our programming will change necessarily, but we'll be able to incorporate our after-school programs, our outreach programs, our music academy, all of the things that we normally do within one roof, so to speak.
And they're ongoing throughout the whole year.
They are
so
ongoing now
it
throughout
isn't
the
just a short period of time during the summer.
We have had year-round activity for quite some time. It's just never been as, I think, important for us to establish what that means in terms of our identity than it is now. So we'll still have our summer festival and your chamber music and your orchestra and your jazz. We'll have a number of points of entry for other things that can be presented through a music center where you don't quite get it when you say music festival, but what does that mean when you're giving concerts in December?
I think that's important because I think that a music festival does sort of limit your idea of what it is. So this will certainly, and because you have been such a gift to our community. I mean, you have brought so much to it, and you bring, for the folks who come in the summer, it's a wonderful, wonderful joy. But for those of us who are here all year, you give us that culture, that beautiful music that means so much to all of us.
Well, I really
And
appreciate your kind words.
It's
Thank
been
you.
really, really, it's a gift. You are a gift to our community.
you.
And also, I have to say, you also are very active in the community. You give a lot of your time, you and your wife both give a lot of your time and energy to make this such a wonderful place to be.
Well, as much as we can. My wife and I, my wife, Joanna Genova, is a violinist, by the way. We love working with our area colleagues in the arts, Dorset Theatre, Weston Playhouse Theatre. We love the collective endeavor of contributing to a creative economy and the quality of life that so many people seek when they come to Vermont.
Absolutely.
So I thank you for that very much, but we're certainly not alone.
Yeah, well, that's true, but thank you for everything you do. And for all of you out there, this is absolutely fabulous. The season is going to be unbelievable. So you can go online. We have the website online. You can go and come and see Ari perform. Thank you so much for all
Sally.
you do and
Thank
for
you.
being here.
And you as well.
Thank you. And for all of you out there, we hope you enjoyed this. Enjoy some more music. And until next time, let's talk.